And we're back here at Lower Perkiomen Valley Park. 2025 USAFL Northeastern Regional Championships continue here outside of Philadelphia as we have this women's mixed match as the two teams, the clubs that have come here today, led by the New York Magpies and the DC Eagles, are mixed up and trying to get more experience. And so the Magpies winning the regional match earlier today. Brian Barish here alongside Pat Machado, and we will do the best with the players here with the names, as here is Gardner who will send this one down. That's Imogene Gardner going after the football, picked up by Liz McCaskill for the white team. We're calling the Magpies, as here is McCaskill who can't get it back. This is Grace Hinchin who handballs the ball over to Malbadian. Handballs it in again, looking for a teammate, going to get picked up. Malbadian has it again, kicks this one inside the 50-meter arc. The white team, the Magpies, trying to get it out there, looking for Kate Spear in the back line, can't get to it, going to get picked up, looking for a short pass and had it. Malbadian was taken down, and she was clutching her shoulder for a second. Meanwhile, here's a shot for a goal. It's marked in front, and I believe that's Very who's taken the mark. So Kathleen Very will go back and try to give the Eagles the lead in this scratch match, and the kick is up on the way, and it is good. So after 2 minutes of play, the Eagles lead 6-0 on the Tasmanian scoreboard. And you know, I was talking with Drea Casillas, the longtime player for the New York Magpies. Both teams, we talked about how both teams are recruiting really well in this season, and I think something like this, you know, game reps are very, very rare, especially on the women's side, and I think this is a great opportunity. Wish the weather would be a little bit cooler, but at the same time, it's good to see these women getting a hit out.
You know, absolutely. All of these players, of course, like, you know, players, staff, everybody here has lives outside of footy that often get in the way of scheduling games, getting games in, getting hit-outs in. So these regional and national tournaments are probably the best opportunity that we have to get those reps in and elevate the programs beyond where they are.
Ball comes back in the middle of the ground once again. And out to get it now is the Magpies team, as this one is sent in. Kick on the way for the Magpies. It is marked in front by Elizabeth McCaskill. Liz McCaskill, who really set the pace with a couple of goals. Through the wickets there, going to get picked that one up. I believe that's Danielle Gallagher, who's going to stroll in and kick a sausage roll to tie the score. So the Magpies have leveled the game. It is 1 straight 6, each of 2, except I'm being told it's been touched. It has been touched. What did you see there, Pat?
I saw the umpire.
Yeah. It looked like he had stepped forward.
That's a start.
So it's 6-1. It is 6-1 as the Eagles lead. And on this day here in Philadelphia, and, you know, we mentioned Drea, we mentioned all the women that are across the USAFL helping to grow the women's game. And, of course, President April Munn, who is in her second full season in that particular role, as the ball will be put back into play.
And here are the DC Eagles moving forward now. They have numbers, so I'm going to try to call their names. But like I said in an earlier game, unlike Brian, I do not have 20 years experience in the league, so I can't pick them out based on just what they look like.
Well, it's funny because 21 for the Eagles, we still don't know who that is.
I think that's the dichotomy of this league wrapped up in nice little bow for you.
Well, here is Caitlin Spear out to the near side. Now going after a one-on-one contest. Good tackle put in. Going to get speared through. Looking for Fries. Mallory Fries going after the football. Kicked up by Grace Hinchin. Hinchin had a great debut for the Magpies as that one goes in. Spins around. Looks for it. She got held up nicely. Going to get taken down. Gets away from a defender. Little bump handball. Malbadian goes across. And it's going to be taken by the one Dockers player who clears that one out, but not terribly far. Going to get picked up once again. Here come the Magpies in the white. Handballs it up. Goes one way, sends that one in. And then Tolonen here the other way. Here's a kick on the ground. That's by, as that one is, we have a whistle is coming back. We'll double check that player. I know who that is. I just didn't see the number.
It's a high contact call, and the Eagles will have an opportunity to get it in deep.
That was Cassidy Powers who has the ball now.
And the kick was on target too, just a little too hot to handle. Malbanian plays it into the far side forward pocket. They chase after the ball and kicked off the ground straight into the post.
Go ahead.
I would say mark that down for a minor score.
I was going to say it was a Wilbur post. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. My dad's not sitting behind us, so I can make these. Actually, I think he would have enjoyed that. In case you're wondering, if you were watching the earlier games and they had the camera point on us, who that older gentleman was, that was my dad, Bruce Barish, who was serving as an honorary spotter for a couple of games. It was great to see him come out as this one is kicked on the way, and I think this one's going to be a behind as well, and so it is through for another minor score. So the Eagles team leads 8-1 with 6.5 minutes gone. If you're watching us on the live stream, stick around. We've got the final round of men's action. Still very much all to play for as the 0-2 DC Eagles take on the 1-1 Baltimore Dockers. And then the 2-0 New York Magpies face off against the 1-1 Philadelphia Hawks to determine who wins this Northeast Regional Championship. And don't forget, as Caitlin Spear waits for her signal to put the ball back into play, there is Imogene Gardner. She was legged, came back up. Thankfully, she didn't get hurt, but it's turned over. That's Hinchin who kicks that one through. It'll dribble through for a goal. Great goal there by, I believe that was Grace Hinchin, wearing the 45. But the Eagles extend their lead on the Tasmanian scoreboard, 2-2-14 to the Magpies team, 1 point. I'm really impressed watching, and we talk about these younger players. Hinchin, we mentioned the Gardner sisters as well. It'd be good to talk to them and get more and get their background as well. This is an absolutely, as we mentioned, the reps that they get, and there's a lot of game sense. Now, you haven't played, I have, but it is. We talked to Drea, her son Gabe. This was his debut with the Magpies, and I asked her how he was doing it, and he said, as a soccer player, there's a lot of awareness. It's just like learning what to do and where to go. So we're seeing a lot of that with these women, and
it also works the other way, and that's games. That sort of game sense isn't necessarily something that you can always teach a particular person. Sometimes it just comes naturally, and the reps is getting acquainted from sport to sport. But if you have game sense in one sport, you're gonna get it in another. You just need time.
Absolutely. I mean, and a lot of it, like especially, there is something in that that sticks in your brain when you've gone through that enough, that does it and that puts everything together. So a lot of these women are picking it up very quickly, and the thing is that the level that these women are coming in is at a much higher level, I think, than what we've seen in the past. And that's a good story, as Garner was taken down with a half Nelson. Ball goes up over the top as it stays in play. Little chippy handball over a cross, goes into the middle where it is taken, and back the other way is Cassidy Powers. Powers will go looking the other direction. Now sends this one down the ground and marked over the top by the 21. She has the football, right half forward flank. And she will take her time. Might be interested to see if in fact she's being told to go forward by Powers. Instead, she does a little chip where it's marked by
play on.
Yep, and they'll play on. That was Hinchin, who finds the 21 going up high, over the top. Going after it is Page. I'll check that was Chatska. Chatska from an odd angle. Kicks it across in front. Can she get boot the ball? She can! Great job by Kathleen Very. And the Eagles team gets a third goal. They go to 3-2, 20 midway through this first half. We're assuming they're playing 20-minute halves. And the Magpies one behind. That's on the Tasmanian scoreboard.
That was a great recovery by Very. That ball took a crazy bounce, almost seemed magnetized to stay within the field of play. Pressured by two defensive players and just able to thread the needle to put it through right directly in front.
I think the game sense is really picked up. And we talk about these two teams, obviously for this, they're intermixed. But I think it helps, I think both teams individually, especially DC. And, they didn't win a game at Nationals last season, but from what I saw of their play, and from what I saw of their play 2 seasons ago when they played in Division II at Nationals, there's a lot of good there. And they lost arguably their best player in Alex Trollope as that has gone out of bounds as that was Fries, who was on McCaskill's back. The interesting thing about they lost Alex Trollope, who's gone back home to Australia. They didn't have Stephanie Hauer, who is another player from AFL Canberra, who has really gone to the fore the last couple of years. But there's still a good amount of talent, and the experience that they're getting is really good, as McCaskill will go back, and she waits, and she will drive the football in. It starts right, it stays right, but it's marked in front. And now this will be from an odd angle, and I think...
No choice but to go around the corner.
Yeah. This, I believe, is the captain in Kowal, I believe. And Kowal says, let's pull out the banana. And it's a good banana. Bananas are good for you. They have lots of potassium, and they'll get you 6 points on that particular occasion. So the Magpies team in white in this women's mixed match, they go to 117 on the Tasmanian scoreboard. And the Eagles team in blue, they are at 3-2-20. Fantastic goal right there.
Yeah, great result. Kick originally offline, just off the outside of the boot, which is what caused it to stay right when it started there. And straight out the back, unmarked, no one saw her. Gets the grab, good finish.
What's interesting as well, and when you talk about plays like that, I see a lot of the trolls say, oh, well, women can't do this, women's team can't do that. I'm sorry. It's amazing to me some of these trick shots that they have and some of the fantastic skills, like at all levels. And we obviously are watching in the USAFL the skills that they have here all the way on up. It's really great to see the emergence of AFLW, of the state leagues as well. Watch a fair bit of VFLW. We've had a couple of women. We mentioned April Munn, players like Jess Blecker, as well, Rosie Croca, who've gone through and played in the NTFL. It is great to see women's football at all levels and seeing how well they have expanded. As Spear is in there for the Magpies team, it bounces off of her nose. She is I was keeping the binoculars on her. She just wiped it away ever so nonchalantly, and then that could have been kicking in danger. It wasn't. In fact, now the ball, I think, went out of bounds.
But there is the kicking in danger call.
The trailing official made that call, and it will be a free kick going the other way. 20-7, the Eagles team leads the Magpies team. Brian Barish alongside Pat Machado, and the Magpies winning the regional championship earlier today. This match, as we said, a chance for a lot of the younger players to get, as Chatska will go back. This, I believe, is her second or third year of playing. She is just waiting, and I think she should back herself. She's looking to find out I think she's, well, it was curious as to what was happening. She didn't get a good boot into it, but it skitters through, and I think it may have gone through for a goal. Let's see. It has.
Wasn't touched?
It was not touched. They're bringing the ball back out into the middle. That looked awfully close, but both sets of umpires were right there, and so a goal by Chatska. And the Eagles team extends their lead with 5 to go. 15 minutes gone in this half, as we said. I'm assuming they are playing 20-minute halves. 26-7 is the score.
The broken play all the way. You could see before the kick even happened that she was having a conversation with the umpire about something, maybe about the line that she was on or something. I think that's what you were alluding to before the kick actually ended up happening, and then goes through untouched, takes a friendly bounce, and you'll take them any way you can get them.
Now you can see
it's starting to feel eerie now,
here,
isn't it?
It is getting a little bit omnibus, as we're saying. And any minute now, the rain, there should be a band of rain coming through, but it doesn't look like there's much behind us. So perhaps it'll be a quick shower. Hopefully there's no lightning involved, but it looks like it should come here and gone sometime in the next 20 minutes.
Prove me wrong. Went to the Robbo Boundary Rider School of Meteorology.
Pretty much, as the ball comes down the line. Yeah, I was going to say, try saying that 10 times with a mouthful of mashed potatoes. As the ball is up on the far side, the Eagles team still leading 26-7 in this women's mixed match of the USAFL Eastern Regionals. Again, next week, Northeastern Regionals. We'll be at the Southeastern Regionals in Raleigh in a week's time. And as we said, 4 teams on the men's side will have a clinic. If you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area near NC State, come out and join us. And it should be a great day of Aussie Rules football. Ball will come spinning back in the play. And there at the back is Danielle Gallagher. Gals gets out to the far side, marked by Malbannon. Malbannon, right. Malabaddon, sorry. Sorry, Ash. Ball's up on the far side. And going to get picked up and banged out of there. Out the back, almost taking the mark. Now going to pick up. Is that Drea? I think that's Drea Casillas wearing 39. Yeah, it is. Can't mistake her. And her normally Magpies teammate in Powers is in there. We'll have a ball up directly across. It's definitely felt cooler, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet you can take this call all the way, because I'm going to try to say a name and I'm going to end up butchering it. I'm leaving this one to you.
Well, we'll have an opportunity as this one is sent on the way off the hands there of the 15. Little hand pass in front and dribbling that one home. Is that a goal?
Yes, sir.
It was. 38 for the Eagles if she is still wearing her same number. And that would be Maggie Sauerhage. And Maggie, if I didn't get that right, I apologize. I try, and
either that or you just gave her a goal and she didn't kick one. So
well,
I'm sure
either way,
take it either way.
That's the 5th goal for the Eagles team. They go to 5-2-32, and the Magpies team in white, they're at 1-1-7.
And those are undisputable facts.
Yep. These 4 things I know are true. That was the original Around the Horn with Max Kellerman.
Oh, rest in peace.
Our rip. Poor one out for ATH as the ball goes on the far side. And it is getting noticeably darker. And there is a kick for goal by the Magpie side. Going after it and staying with it. Going to go pick that one up is Hall. Goes across, tackling, and Conley was there, or rather Fries was there to concede the behind. And that is through for a minor score. 1-2-8 go the Magpies team. They trail by 4 goals, 5-2-32. And the cloud cover is getting quickly, is approaching very quickly. Now, there is every effort that will be sustained. This game, as we've mentioned, this is essentially a chance, a scratch match in a sense, but we want these women to get the opportunity to see what they're, to go back and reply, as that one is a very awkward tackle. Is Millie Gardner was in there, going to go pick that one up with Spear. There's a bit of a tug of war happening. These matches we will endeavor to get in completely, and so if there is a delay, if we do happen to see lightning in the area, then perhaps there will be a little bit of a delay. But in case you've been following us all day, we started a half hour late. We might be slightly behind for the rest of the day as the ball goes in. Eagles team trying to squeeze out another goal here as Gallagher gets it away. Gonna get picked up, handballed into her chest, and it just squirts through and conceded for a behind. Eagles team get another point on the stroke of halftime. 5-3-33 for the Eagles team. The Magpies team 1-2-8 at the end of the first half. And I think we're seeing a lot of good play here, Pat. And, you know, especially as we mentioned, a good chance for some of the youngsters, players who we're seeing, or maybe some of the players who are different spots of the ball, different spots that they normally play. It's good to see them get touches.
Absolutely. It's one of the... we say this in broadcasting all the time, right? You can prepare all you want, you can talk theory all you want, but you know maybe about 2% of what you need to know until you actually go out there and get a hit out and get a rep in. So this is exactly what this game is meant to do. Maybe learn some new positions. As it's starting to come down here, we're in for a wet second half.
Yeah, we are, and perhaps a wet next 20 minutes. We can feel it coming. We will step aside and come right back as the wind picks up. You're watching the 2025 USAFL Northeastern Regionals here on AussieRulesUSA.com.
Oh, that was a quick 15 minutes.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. HBC Event Services. Premier Sports Medicine. Valley Forge Sports. And Visit Tucson Sports.
Jackson.
Back here on the Lower Perkiomen Valley Park in Oaks, Pennsylvania, which is rapidly starting to look like Mordor. It's the 2025 USAFL Northeastern Regional Championships. Brian Barish back here with Pat Machado. This women's game, this women's mixed match between the Magpies team in the white and the Eagles team in the blue. The Eagles are 33-8 winners or leaders right now as we start the second half, and Pat Machado, the rain is
It is
belting
pissing down here in Philadelphia.
That's some Brian Taylor nonsense, but I'll allow it. And the players are out there now and getting ready for, well, it has to feel, I would tend to think that this, after the humidity, this actually has to feel pretty good.
It'll feel good for about, I want to say 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Then once it starts to get slippery out there, I bet that changes tune real quick.
There is a spot in the background here that you can actually see on our shot of that blue sky. That is what is awaiting us in probably about, I would say, 10 minutes. This weather is going to pass its way through, and
it's going to make its presence known in the few times that it's got.
I will say that if that is in fact the case, the one thing it will do for the last 2 games is it will make the ground wet. What I will say is that this ground, and my wife, when she was here earlier, noticed that the ground does tend to dry very quickly, as we just got some drops in on coming in the tent. But meanwhile, the Eagles, as we are underway,
feeling a bit like Hurricane Harbor, a bit.
Yeah, a little bit
north.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's I wasn't planning on going on the log flume, as this one comes down the line in the middle of the ground, and we have a whistle. Well, if it sounds like we have a little bit of chaos going on here, that's because it is. As the rain comes down even further. And meanwhile, those women are out there playing. As this is Mallory Fry sending that one over into the pocket. Over into the corner now. Going to get picked up by one of the Magpie players. Tell you what, this system can't pass fast enough. And the ball goes out over the boundary line and out of bounds. Well, this is the hardest that the rain has fallen all day. And I'll tell you what, we got 3 people holding up this tent. And trying to kind of keep an eye on what's happening. And you can really see it as just checking in with Troy Thompson from World Footy News, who said very succinctly that it is in fact a good day for ducks. But my goodness, it is absolutely pouring, and here's a chance up on the far side. We're trying to, as we say, keep an eye on what's happening with the game here, but there's a lot going on as this one is cleared out on the into the middle of the ground. They are absolutely soaked. As
I found an old credential in my bag from the Bahama Bowl I did, but I didn't really think we were going to get a monsoon today.
That's Pat Machado reporting from somewhere in the middle of the tent. My goodness, this is absolute. I'll tell you what, it poured like this in Toronto. Kicking in danger is what's the call. And it was the same situation. It looks like the rain, as we said, the sun is trying to poke out. And if it sounds more like a weather report, it kind of is at the moment.
Kind of easy to fall into that trap when you don't have numbers, right?
It is true. And the Magpies team, as far as we could tell, because it is 33-8 is what the score is. As the Eagles, who are now the Magpies team, who are now kicking to the left. And Paul O'Keefe, who is standing out there stoic as can be. A free kick has been awarded to Mallory Fries in the goal square. Fries will send this one down. 2-on-2 contest. Hinchin comes out to the near side. Turns for goal. Is this going to be a goal for the Magpies team? Stays in. play. McCaskill, or rather that's Tex Hall. There's McCaskill. And here is Conley, who kicks it right into Gardner's breadbasket, and the result of all of that is a behind 34, or rather, no, that was for the Magpies team. It's 33-9 as the rain continues to belt down. What's the weather like in the middle of the tent, Pat?
I'm trying to peek out so I can see something, but I would get a closer look, but I'm not risking this headset. It's very expensive, and y'all are not paying for it.
Well, I'm not sure if there was one behind or two. And again, in fact, the second behind has been given. So 33-10 is the score. It is 5-3 to 1-4. And these women are out here in this game. Again, I think as well, Pat, and this is a good general rule of thumb here, yeah, they're getting in reps, but I think this is going to force both teams. You know, you don't get a lot of wet weather footy practice, and you're getting it right here in spades.
Maybe when Nationals comes back to one of the humid states.
Well,
not going to get much of that in Tucson.
Most likely not, although...
Play that one back in a couple months.
Yeah. The other side of that is you think of a place like Racine, Wisconsin a few years ago where the temperature for both days didn't really get out of the 40s. So, meanwhile, the game continues. And I know Troy's awake at, however, whatever time it is in Australia right now. I think it's something like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Just another report from inside the tent. The roof is starting to cave down a little bit, so might as well get some of the Bunnings rave people from Old Mates to come in and fix this.
What's up? What's? Oh, yeah. Oh. Hey.
Just let it. Just let it sit. You want me to pull it out? Well, I don't want it to just.
Yeah, you don't want to get the equipment here. Yeah, there's a water has started the pool in our tent. I'll tell you what, though, I think it's starting to pass.
Hey, Darren, if you push it out, so pull it.
Woo!
Not a bad apple.
Well, that'll work.
Put most of it
Yeah.
Way to sacrifice the body.
Yeah, good job, Darren. We apologize to everybody. I know we're watching the game. Obviously, it's exceedingly difficult conditions here. It looks like a goal has been kicked, and in fact, it has. So the blue team is at 6-3-39. They lead the Magpies team 1-4-10. Brian Barish, Pat Machado, and a cast of millions trying to keep everything together here. It is very difficult, as we said, with the rain. We are keeping an eye on this match, so we apologize. I know that both teams giving it their all here as this one gets sent in. As that one goes off of Caitlin Spears' legs out to the near side. Well, and it's going to get shoveled back there. As the rain continues to belt down, but now the sun is trying very hard to peek its way out. Listen, if we get a rainbow shot out of this, I'm all for it. I know some of the people with expensive equipment probably doesn't believe me, but don't agree with
we can laugh about it after it's over, Brian.
Absolutely, we can. 8 minutes gone in this second half. The Eagles team in the blue, they lead 39-10. The Magpies kicking towards the creek end, and I can only imagine that creek is raging at the moment. And that's going to be a takedown and a free kick to somebody. Elizabeth McCaskill not terribly happy. Deanne Hall, a.k.a. Tex, will take the free kick. She plays her footy for the Virginia Lions. On the way, it's good. And the Magpies team has their second goal, 2-4-16 to the women in blue. The Eagles 6-3-39 in this women's mix match. If you want to find out what's happening in the USAFL, check out our new website, AussieRulesUSA.com. Check out, there's a club near you, events that are happening, and as well as how to get involved, either as a umpire, as a coach, as a volunteer. And check out all the action. As we mentioned, we're going to Raleigh, North Carolina for the Southeastern Regionals a week from today. And then it's off to Kansas City in 2 weeks' time for the Central Regionals, and then out to Denver for the Western Regionals on July 19th. Coming up on the halfway point, and the Eagles team still leading now by 23 points. And that one is kicked down. Going to get sent back in the other direction. Going to get picked this one up. Turns it around, does Izzy Gardner. As this one is kicked in. And the rain, Pat, has passed us by finally.
Take my seat again.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A little bit wetter than when I left it. But
you can stop hiding.
The equipment is safe. That's all that matters.
Yes. And for those of you, I know we've got a self mic here, but I'll tell you, as you've been seeing during the game, or a self camera, a talent camera, you've been seeing that I actually have a hand mic that is on a tripod here, so I didn't have the luxury of hiding. But I actually am okay actually.
I'd almost rather be using that because,
I'm just poking fun at Pat here.
Yeah, no, it's a rough time. That's for sure. But that was the last band that showed on the radar, so I think we should be good.
Yep, Mark taken on the far side by the Eagles team in the blue. They lead 39-16. Brian Barish and Patrick Machado. Of course, the day will finish with 2 men's matches coming up as the Baltimore Dockers take on the DC Eagles. And the Dockers at 1-1. They can win, would put some pressure on both the Philadelphia Hawks and New York Magpies in the final game. As this one is sent in, it'll hop, gets by the defender, staying with it, and now going to pick that one up. Little handball across, goes away, partially smothered. Nice kick in the middle, going to get picked up, going through and putting this one in for goal. It goes across, staying with it, and a little handball, but it was a needless one as the ball was given away. Over top, going to get picked up. Handballs it out into the middle. Throws that one on. You can see, it's funny, there was a lot of moisture on Route 422, which is behind us. You can see a lot of it getting kicked up by the cars behind us. As there is Fries with a big booming kick. Or check that wasn't Fries, that was Powers, who did exactly that with the ball and sends that one through for behind. 6-4-40 for the blue team, the Eagles team, and the Magpies team are 2-4-16 with 12 and a half minutes gone in a literally wet and wild second half here at Lower Perkiomen Valley Park.
Do you think the Zambonis from Edmonton had a layover in Philadelphia on their way down to Florida, or what?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. They took the they would have taken the scenic route. Throws this one on to the left. Dropped in front. And that one is sent down the ground. Clean bowls the defender. And here they come the other way. Long kick down the middle of the ground. Drops in front. Going after it is McCaskill. Wiz will wet. Wow, everyone waited. Gave her some time. Now she puts that one on to the right. Right into the shins there of Hinchin. And taken down in the back, no call. Looks for McCaskill, gives a don't argue, runs the 50, ran about 15.2 meters and kicks that one to goal, and she has kicked another one, Elizabeth McCaskill. We said that she was the best player in the there was the best player, and that is the end of the game. And right on time. So a fantastic match, and the weather was, well, I'm assuming that's it, right? Was that, or is that a goal?
It was a goal and then full time.
And then full time, yep, that's what I thought. All right, I saw a couple of players standing around over there, and unfortunately, I'm like a dog. I'm like, what? But that's it. And the final score, 6-4-40 for the team in blue. The Eagles and the team Magpies are 2-4-16. You know what? The weather aside, it was great to see. A lot of really good skills. Liz McCaskill having a day on in both matches.
And you mentioned for a scratch match. I mean, you get all sorts of scenarios in that 40 minutes of play. But yeah, McCaskill picking up exactly where she left off in the first matchup of the game that day that I saw. Just a great weekend for her.
Absolutely, and Ash Malbannon had a fantastic game as well. Mallory Fries had a lot of the ball. Courtney Powers also played well. A lot of really good performances over the course of this day. The women's, we have a few women in this group that are going to be headed to the Western Regionals, and what's going to be, Pat, the largest regionals for the women. We're going to have 2 divisions, 7 total teams. It's going to be fantastic. And, we got Golden Gate in Minnesota, but these women are going to be competing too. And I think they'll most likely be competing as part of Division 2 with other teams. But I think we're going to see some good play as we head out there.
Stay tuned in that for July
19th. Well, we've got 2 more games as the final round of the men's competition. We will crown a champion at the end of the day. Coming up next, it's the 2-0 Baltimore Dockers, the 1-1 Baltimore Dockers against the 0-2 DC Eagles. We'll be back on the other side for that and for you. This is the 2025 USAFL Northeastern Regionals presented by Tasmanian here on AussieRulesUSA.com.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers, Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. HBC Event Services. Premier Sports Medicine. Valley Forge Sports. And Visit Tucson Sports.